The Obama administration. And Joel, just to explain exactly what's a backtrack there, 2 days ago, President Trump did not rule out using U.S. troops. Yesterday, the White House's staff seemed to try to clean that up. Apparently not enough. So President Trump again today says a reversal from 2 days ago, no U.S. troops, but does still say the U.S. will own Gaza. How much clarity does this provide to you?
You know, John, I'm sorry, I'd rather go to get a ticket to Disney World in this case, because it sounds like that's what he's designing right now. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's radical and reckless. It clearly is incoherent. There is no plan. There is no thought process. The president is untethered from reality right now. And the worst part about this is that there are actually real world implications for this. There is a ceasefire right now in place between Hamas and Israel that is working, that is getting Israelis out of Gaza, hostages out, that's getting aid into Gaza. And he's not talking about that. He's not talking about organizing the next phase. He's not talking about ending the war with the allies on board in a process for the next phase. This is really self-destructive.
Well, allies of the president say this is just a brilliant negotiating position. He's trying to shake things up in the region, and I'm sure they'll say this statement today, which backs off some of the things he said, is even more brilliant. But in terms of a negotiating position to try to build a future in the region, what does this do?
Well, you know, John, the American president, part of his power is his word. And what you can't have is an American president whose word can't be trusted, can't even be understood. Threats like, for example, against Canada and Mexico that were then rescinded in exchange for items that these governments had already agreed to do months prior. Now we see the president talking about ideas that are out of left field. And so I think for foreign governments to try to figure out how to sign up, how to work with the United States, how to engage, they're going to be scratching their heads saying, we don't really know what he's going to say from one day to the next. And oh, by the way, he's eliminating his foreign assistance arm, USAID, which will likely be the entity tasked with doing much of this rebuilding. So it's completely incoherent from what he's doing right now here to the foreign policy of the United States.
What do you see Israel doing with these statements in the days and weeks ahead? I mean, Prime Minister Netanyahu overnight said it's, one of the great new ideas he's heard. There are Israeli military officials saying they need to make plans for how to voluntarily resettle Palestinians. But what are the real world implications for Israel now?
Well, John, I think for the Israelis, this is certainly a gift. To Prime Minister Netanyahu. The most extreme members of his coalition are cheering about this idea because it basically takes off all pressure from Israel to be worried about exiting Gaza and to be worried about having some plan where potentially they could turn over Gaza to Palestinian governance. And that's the sort of discussion that needs to be had here, which is how to ensure that there's a safe, secure Gaza that does not threaten Israel, that is governed by the Palestinians in a way that the rest of the Arab world comes on board and builds peace with Israel. That's the discussion that needs to be had. And right now, what Trump has done is push that discussion off the table.
Joel Rubin, thanks for coming in this morning.